What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the physique update of the reigning 212 Mr. Olympia champion. So I have no idea why he decided to delete some of the updates that were posted on his Instagram stories. But I do have some of the screenshots. So this is Keone at 17 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia. And I have to say his proportions are already mind-boggling. So structurally speaking, Keone Pearson is so big and so wide, especially from the front, and more specifically when he opens up for a shot. That is just ridiculously good. I don't think anyone out there, including Sean Carrera, they will stand a chance against him, especially in the front shots. So his back was the area where he was vulnerable against Sean Carrera, because he lacks the thickness, he lacks the density. But the way this offseason went, the way he was so focused after winning the Olympia last year, the way he was regimented, where he was able to push daily to be a better bodybuilder, I guess even the back shots will be a lot closer between him and Sean Carrera at the Olympia this year. From the looks of it, it seems like he has significantly closed that gap as well. So Keone Pearson has a totally different mindset after he started working with Patrick Tour, specifically after winning the Olympia. Because if you guys remember, Keone Pearson told us that he wants to retire before 30, and he wants to win just one Olympia title. But the good thing is that you no longer hear this kind of talk from him. He told us in an interview with Dennis James that this is where he belongs. He wants to create a legacy in bodybuilding. And he even said that he wants to end his career in the men's open bodybuilding. And he also announced that there is a possibility of him doing the Arnold Classic 2025 if they give him an invite. So that right there is also an open bodybuilder in the making. And I think all of us can see that. He can do really well in the men's open bodybuilding as well. We have seen him stand next to so many open bodybuilders, and he can really hold his own. So if he actually does the Arnold 2025, that is gonna be so awesome to see. Next up, we have a physique update from James Hollingshead. Just a thick, muscular man with a lot of impressive shots. So he was in the detox phase a few weeks back after doing the Arnold Classic UK, and he was using the minimum amount of gear, and considering that, he looks really awesome. So whether he is gonna compete this year or not, that decision is still kinda shaky. And the reason for that is because he was suffering from a knee injury for most part of his Arnold Classic prep. And still, he managed to place top 5, which by the way is probably his biggest accomplishment. And that is why the decision of competing again this year, that is still under consideration for now. Because he needs to be 100% healthy before he starts another prep, before he thinks about starting another prep. And the last time he spoke about that, he was in the recovery phase. So when we talk about all these static physiques, who are going to be ruling the men's open division in the future, people say that a guy like James Hollingshead, who isn't the biggest guy, he isn't the most freakiest guy in the league, he doesn't have the best aesthetics, and that is why he cannot be in that league of the top guys. He cannot compete with the best of the best. But we have to keep in mind, Branch Warren wasn't also the most aesthetic guy out there, but he was able to win the Arnold Classic. Actually, he won multiple Arnolds, and he was able to beat a reigning Mr. Olympia Dexter Jackson. That happened in 2009. So he was able to place as high as second at the Olympia level. And I think that should be enough motivation for a guy like James, because both these guys have similar physiques. But then again, James hasn't peaked 100% just yet. So according to James himself, his package at the Arnold Ohio, that was like 85% of his true potential. So if that is in fact true, then we should all be eagerly waiting for his comeback with Stefan this time, because he will most likely be a lot better with him. So talking about Branch Warren, people do not realize what he achieved in 2009. He could have been Mr. Olympia that year. If it wasn't for Jay Cutler's best physique ever, he was able to beat Dexter Jackson, who was the reigning Olympia that year. And everyone actually counted Jay Cutler out, but he just came back and blew everyone out of the water. The hype for this upcoming Emperor Classic spin is real, and thanks to all these amazing competitors like Behrooz Tabani, Michael Krizo, and William Bonac putting out a lot of updates and making it one of the best shows of the year. So Behrooz Tabani also posted another update this morning, hitting that trademark most muscular shot. So this shot is gonna look many times better when he is fully loaded and all cobbed up, and when he has a solid pump on for the stage. So ever since Romania Pro last year, Behrooz Tabani has been looking very much balanced top to bottom. So things were kinda different when he first came onto the scene. That was back in 2021, and he also did Romania that year. And for those of you guys who do not know, he was able to place third behind Rafael Brandao and Samson Dauda. So even then his conditioning was absolutely nuts, best on the stage. So ever since then he has evolved so much over the years, and up to a point where everyone thinks that Behrooz Tabani can place top 10 at the Olympia if he gets the visa, if he gets to the US. So what makes Behrooz Tabani so special? His ability to get shredded inside out. Because as far as the symmetry and the aesthetics are concerned, there are multiple guys out there who have better shape, better symmetry, and more balance than Behrooz, but they do not have that super thin skin texture. That grainy conditioning that Behrooz is able to bring to the stage. The kind of conditioning that we see on a guy like Hadi Chopin. So spin is only the start of the season for Behrooz. And for the very first time in his career, Behrooz is going to be doing 3 shows and hopefully 4 shows in 1 calendar year. Next up, we have an update from Ramon Dino, who is looking really huge and super strong in the gym right now. So, as of right now, the man is looking very lean for 17 weeks out of the Olympia. And the intensity that we are seeing in the gym in his workouts, this is something that was missing when he did that 6 weeks Arnold Classic prep and lost the title to Wesley Wizards. So Ramon clearly underestimated the competition. And if it wasn't for Wesley, who came out of nowhere and he just shocked the entire bodybuilding world, if it wasn't for that, Ramon would have won that show. So considering that, Ramon actually did really well. He was able to beat both Urs Klashinsky and Brian Hensley comfortably, which is kind of a worrisome for all these guys, that they weren't even able to beat a guy who did only a 6 weeks of prep, who wasn't at his 100%. But this time, Ramon is really grinding. And things are gonna stay that way all the way till this year's Mr. Olympia. So, as of right now, Ramon is the only one who was able to push Chris Bumstead very hard at the Olympia 2023. And that actually happened for the very first time since Chris Bumstead started winning the Olympia. But also, we have to keep in mind, Chris kinda missed his mark last year because of a lat tear that happened 10 weeks out of the show. So with Chris Bumstead saying that he wants to bring a package this year, which will be remembered as his all-time best, that means everyone, including Ramon Dino, needs to bring their A game, especially if they want to challenge a guy like Chris Bumstead. New updates from Nick Walker at 17 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia. So the plan is very simple. Bring that waist down to what it looked like back in 2022 and not overdiet up to a point where his quads suffer, because that is exactly what happened at the Arnold Classic 2023 when he lost to Samson Dauda. So the great thing about Nick Walker is that he posts his updates in the worst possible lighting, and that is a great way to deceive his competition. So looking at these updates, he looks really good, even though he just competed at the New York Pro. But the fact that he is now 17 weeks out, the condition on this guy looks absolutely superb. So the margin of error for Nick is absolutely zero, especially at a show like Mr. Olympia with all these static mass monsters. He just cannot bring a package like the one we saw at this year's New York Pro, because that isn't placing top 3 in the world. Because even if you're a die-hard Nick Walker fan, I think you would agree that that physique isn't gonna place top 3 in the world. So I'm not gonna lie, Nick Walker is kinda going against the odds here, especially if he wants to win the Olympia title. He's gonna need some help from all these other top guys, like Hadi Chopin, like Derek, to come in off, to miss their mark, and from Samson Dauda as well. So Nick is definitely gonna be underestimated all the way till this year's Mr. Olympia, especially after what happened at the New York Pro. Because if we look back at the predictions last year as well, even before he dropped out of the show, people did not have him in their top 3. But all in all, I believe this is gonna be a very good Mr. Olympia. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.